And a very pleasant good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Klamath Falls Falcons Baseball, and welcome to the Oregon Single A State Legion Baseball Tournament here at the Yard at Eagle Point High School. My name is Josh Eldridge. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine, sunny afternoon from Eagle Point, Oregon, as the Klamath Falls Falcons get ready to open up tournament play against the West Albany Bulldogs. The Klamath Falls Falcons 8-1 coming into play in the opening round of the state tournament. West Albany, the Bulldogs, are 13-9 overall on the season. These two teams pitted against each other in the first round, the second game of the day here in the state tournament. We saw earlier today the Eugene Ole Athletics defeat the Redmond Sunwest Builders, a 12-2 final. The winner of this game will advance in the winner's side of the bracket and play the Eugene Ole Athletics tomorrow. The loser will be designated to the loser's side of the bracket and play the Redmond Sunwest Builders tomorrow. We'll go a little bit more deep into this double elimination format and what the bracket looks like ahead as these two teams begin battle for an Oregon State crown here on MyBasin.com. We're going to step aside real quickly, and when we come back, we'll be ready for starting lineups and first pitch on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Josh Eldridge, glad to be back with you from Eagle Point High School, the Yard, the home of the Eagle Point Eagles. But today, host to the Oregon Single A Legion State Tournament. The Klamath Falls Falcons getting set to do battle against the West Albany Bulldogs. John Tolliver, the left-hander, on the mound for West Albany, goes against a Klamath Falls Falcons lineup that's like this, with Max Price leading off in center field. The first pitch at 2:01 local time misses upstairs. Max Price followed in the order by Connor Shively, the starting shortstop. Jacoby Takini is catching. He bats third. Hitting fourth is Colin Takini, the second baseman. P.J. Safford bats fifth. He's pitching. Ian Meyer, the third baseman, hitting sixth, followed by Corbin Hamilton, the first baseman, batting seventh. Hitting eighth is Carson Sims in right field, and Ryan Douglas bats ninth in left field today for the Falcons. It's a 2-0 count to Max Price after he took the second pitch upstairs again. Tolliver delivers the 2-0. This one also misses high, and the count moves to 3-0 to Max Price. Lewis, the other half of the West Albany battery. We'll take a look at their defense as we are able. Here's the 3-0 pitch home to Max Price. That one graces the outside corner and moves the count now to 3-1. Beautiful sunny day here in Eagle Point. It'll continue to warm up today, but right now at a fine 90 degrees. And a couple of clouds hanging about, but overall blue skies here in Jackson County for a great day today for baseball and a full week coming up here at the Yard. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Max Price, sends a ground ball over to second. Gage Bending is up with it. He throws on to first, and that'll be the first out in the first inning. So Price goes down on a ground out to second base. This will bring up Connor Shively for the Falcons. A little lefty-on-lefty action here to get the second at-bat going for the game. And like I said, this is a full rest of the week tournament here at Eagle Point. This is game two of 4 today here at Eagle Point, as the first pitch to Shively misses in tight. The count is 1-0. Eugene and Redmond played earlier today. It was the Eugene Ole Athletics who defeated the Redmond Sunwest Builders 12-2 in a mercy rule decision, as the 1-0 misses upstairs to Shively. 2-0 now the count. After our game this afternoon at 5 o'clock, it'll be Portland, Columbia Gorge taking on Central Point. That game is 5 o'clock first pitch. Here's the 2-0 to Shively. That one comes in and hits him, so Connor's going to go ahead and take first, and the Falcons have their first base runner in the first inning. So in steps Jacoby Takini now for the Falcons with one gone and a runner aboard at first. And just to finalize this thought here, the final game of the night will be between the host, Eagle Point, North Jackson, and the Dalles will be playing at 8 o'clock tonight in the final game. The host is going to be playing the nightcap all the way through, so depending on what their result is, it'll change a couple things in the bracket moving forward. But just to give you an idea, there's 4 games today, 4 games tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be sending 2 teams home in this double elimination format. That'll leave 3 games to be played on Friday, 2 games to be played on Saturday, and potentially a couple of games to be played on Sunday as well. We'll have a champion crowned on Sunday. Potentially could be a doubleheader, just depending on how the bracket works itself out in the double elimination format. Sometimes things can get a little funky, especially towards the later days when you talk about pairing teams that have already played each other and things of that nature. We'll get there as the Falcons progress through the tournament, as Jacoby Takini takes a pitch down and in, moves the count to 2 balls and no strikes. But to keep it simple, as far as you're looking to tomorrow, you're looking at the winner of this game advancing to play Eugene at 5 o'clock. The loser of this contest will advance to play the Redmond Sunwest Builders, the losers of that opening game. They'll play either at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, or they'll play at 8 o'clock at night, just depending on what happens with the North Jackson Royals game, which is later on this evening. The 2-0 pitch to Jacoby Takini misses downstairs. It's 3-0. Shively thought about taking off on that pitch in the dirt, but thought better of it. He stays at first. And it's a 3-0 count to Jacoby Takini, with Colin Takini on deck for the Falcons. Tolliver is set on the mound, and he gets ready to deliver. No, move over to first. Shively again back safely. Connor doesn't have that big of a lead off of first. Trying to be cautious of that left-hander on the mound can get a little bit deceitful with that pickoff attempt. So here's the 3-0 home. Takini takes an off-speed pitch that floats across the zone. The count moves to 3 balls and a strike. Around the diamond for West Albany, Thompson plays third. Bryant plays short, Bending at second with Robinson at first. In the outfield from left to right, it's Joint, Roberts, and Southard. The 3-1 to Takini. Hits it hard, but foul down the left side. The count moves full now, 3-2. The Falcons, well, they're making Tolliver work here in the early going. This is the second at-bat in 3 tries that has gone to a full count. Otherwise, Shively was hit by the pitch early on in this at-bat. So pitch count's going to be something you really got to keep track of in a state tournament format like this. Shively takes off on the 3-2 pitch. They got him in a rundown, but Shively's able to swipe second. Thought a pickoff move to first would get Shively, but he was already off and moving to first by the time the ball left the pitcher's hands. At that point, it was too late for West Albany to recover, and Shively is into scoring position now. The count is 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jacoby Takini. Jacoby with 37 RBI on the team this year. That is second most on the ball club. Here's the pitch. He hits one foul to the right side. Count remains full. 3-2 to Jacoby Takini. Along with being second on the team in RBI, something that he's really surged at late in the season. He's also third on the team in hitting, batting .362 this summer for the Falcons. He's really come along nicely through the about the second half of July or so, was middle of the pack, holding ground through the month of June, but has really come along nicely in the latter part of the season. Here he sends a lazy fly ball to center field, right into the glove of Roberts, and Shively not able to tag on that play on the routine fly out, so he'll stay at second. 2 gone now for Colin Takini. So Takini this season is batting .330. As a team, this Falcons squad could very well make a case for a favorite coming into this state tournament. Batting .354 as a squad. I think coming into this tournament, you probably take a look at the Falcons as a potential title contender. I think you could say the same thing about the Central Point Comets as well. And Eugene has always been very formidable at these tournaments as well. And again, we already saw Eugene pick up a win earlier today in a mercy rule fashion over Redmond. First pitch to Colin Takini is a curveball that misses off the plate outside to the right-handed bat from Lakeview High School. The count moves to 1-0. Klamath Falls, of course, finishing second in their league behind Central Point. The doubleheader sweep of the Falcons by Central Point back on Friday is what sealed the deal, as that pitch misses outside 2-0. So Central Point were league champions. It was up in the air until Friday afternoon whether or not the Klamath Falls Falcons would make the state tournament at all, and in fact needing wins in that doubleheader to make the state tournament. But as the day unfolded and the field of teams was being selected, it turns out that the Falcons would wind up earning an at-large bid to the state tournament as the 2-0 pitch misses upstairs, 3-0. Our league was only given 2 automatic bids to the state tournament, one being North Jackson, the host, and the other being the league champion, Central Point. But the Falcons, by virtue of other teams dropping out of the state tournament, was able to qualify in an at-large fashion, and I think rightfully so, deserving it certainly, with a 30-win season, as Takini takes a fastball in around the knees on the inside corner. Count moves to 3-1. I believe the Falcons have the second most wins in the entire state of Oregon overall. It would be a shame to have them not compete for a state title. So I think it's the right decision to have these guys here in Eagle Point competing today. The 3-1 pitch misses downstairs. Colin Takini will earn a walk, and that'll put 2 men on, still with 2 out, for the Falcons' starting pitcher this afternoon, P.J. Safford. Safford trying to help himself out a little bit here. Gets a chance to swing the bat before even taking the hill. Safford on the season for the Falcons is batting .336 and has 35 RBI on the season. A golden opportunity to try to get the Falcons on the board first in the top of the first inning. Tolliver looking in. Gets the sign from his catcher, Lewis. Takes a moment before coming set. Not a very aggressive lead off a second for Shively, so Tolliver delivers home. It's a 2-seam fastball on the outside corner. Count moves to 0-1 to P.J. Safford. Ian Meyer is on deck for the Falcons. He is the 6th batter this inning. Safford again behind in the count, 0-1. Tolliver comes set, checks the runner at second before delivering home to Safford. A slider is rattled foul down the third base side. The count moves to 0-2. It was Shively who was hit by a pitch and stole second. Colin Takini is over there at first after he earned a walk. Safford settles back in an 0-2 count. Spreads out his legs a little bit, trying to defend the plate, down 2 strikes. Tolliver delivers. That one is in the dirt. Shively takes off for third. The throw down is not in time, and the trailing runner, Colin Takini, moves up to second base. So now a 1-2 count at the plate to Safford, and 2 men in scoring position. And now a base hit could score 2 if you're able to place it well enough in the outfield. Safford just trying to put the ball in play. A ball and 2 strikes, the count to the starting pitcher this afternoon for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Set is Tolliver. Kicks and delivers the 1-2. Ground ball back up the middle. Gloved by the second baseman Bending. No, it kicks off his glove and into center field. Safford with a 2 RBI single, and the Falcons in front 2-0. It's a good attempt by Bending out at second. Tried to go for a backhand, but it just rolled up his arm and into center field, giving Safford the knock, and 2 runs come in to score. So here is Ian Meyer with the Falcons now in front 2-0. Meyer looking to keep the rally going for the Falcons. He bats .342 this summer, getting the start at third base today. Has started at first, has been the designated hitter on multiple occasions. But now at the hot corner today, Meyer, the first pitch is going to be taken wide for a ball. The count is 1-0. After Meyer, in the Klamath Falls order, is Corbin Hamilton. Falcons wearing their red tops today. Falcons written across the chest in blue text and white trim. White pants today for the Falcons. The 1-0 is going to miss inside. Oh! Called a strike. The count is 1-1 to Ian Meyer. West Albany today in their gray pants and gray tops. They've got navy blue thick stripe across their chest. Navy blue caps as well for West Albany. Navy blue numbers across their back as well. Here's the 1-1. It's actually going to be a move over to first, but Ryan Glidden dives back safely. Glidden in as a courtesy runner for P.J. Safford, the pitcher who picked up that 2 RBI single a moment ago. So it's Glidden who's aboard at first, and a 1-1 count to Ian Meyer. 3 umpires around the diamond today at the state tournament. Home plate umpire given the count, the 1-1. He readies for the pitch. It's lifted into the air to left field. Joint having to go back. It's over his head, and it'll get down for extra bases. Glidden gets the green light. They're waving him in, and he scores all the way from first. And an RBI double for Ian Meyer makes it 3-0 Falcons. Big time hit there for Ian, picking up his 6th double of the summer and RBI number 25. He gives the Falcons a 3-run advantage in the top of the first inning. Now it's Corbin Hamilton. Try to keep things going. Haven't had many tournament performances this year for the Falcons, but Corbin Hamilton has certainly left his mark on the one other tournament, I suppose 2 other tournaments the Falcons played this summer. Up in Alaska, Corbin Hamilton was the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic MVP. The Falcons placed runner-up at that event in Anchorage. Here's the first pitch to Corbin. It misses high and away. The count goes to 1-0. Bat over 500 across the handful of games the Falcons played there in Anchorage. He got 7 strikeouts and 5 innings pitched. He's only the second Oregon player to ever earn the tournament MVP in Anchorage. It's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Corbin. Here it comes. Fouled straight back. Count moves to 1-1. So all is to say that in small doses and in big spots, Corbin Hamilton has been a guy who's produced this year for the Falcons, and another opportunity here in the top of the first inning of the first game of the 2025 Oregon Single-A Legion State Tournament. Hamilton has relaxed hands in the right-handed batter's box, keeps his bat rested on his shoulder as he readies for the 1-1. On its way. Hamilton pops it up. It's looks out of play, I believe, behind home. And the count moves to 1-2. Sometimes these foul balls might have a little bit of an issue keeping track of it on my end. We're under the tent here behind home plate here at the yard. Our vantage point facing directly west here at Eagle Point High School. The sun will be setting over those hills you see on mybasin.com, and well, not soon, but in about 5 or 6 hours. Last time we were here at Eagle Point, actually had a sun delay because the sun's setting over those hills. Move over to second. Back safely is Ian Meyer. Had a fairly aggressive lead off the second base bag, but it seems as though Bending, the second baseman for West Albany, wasn't fully in position, and it gave Meyer just enough time to scamper on back to second base and get back in safely. But now Tolliver focuses on the hitter. Corbin Hamilton in a 1-2 count. The pitch is in the dirt, blocked by Lewis. Meyer has to get back to second. Got about halfway down the line before deciding better of it, and the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's a 3-0 ball game in the top of the first inning. And there's 2 outs, and the Falcons have a runner at second with their first baseman, Corbin Hamilton, in a 2-2 count at the plate. Here's the delivery from John Tolliver almost hit Hamilton on the off-speed pitch, but he got out of the way of it. And the count runs full now, 3-2. Carson Sims is on deck for the Falcons. Tolliver, class of 2028 for West Albany. He'll be a sophomore next year, trying to get himself out of a jam. Here's the 3-2. And he strikes out Hamilton, and he does just that. But not before the Falcons score 3 runs on 2 base hits in the inning, and they leave a man stranded. They take a 3-0 lead to the bottom of the first inning. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Getting set for the bottom of the first inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the West Albany Bulldogs 3-0. The Bulldogs will try to respond against P.J. Safford on the mound for the Falcons, and their lineup goes like this. Gage Bending is the leadoff hitter. He's at second base, followed by Austin Thompson, the third baseman, who bats second. Caden Lewis is the catcher. He bats third. Jakin Bryant is the shortstop, batting cleanup. Hitting fifth is Trent Roberts in center field. The pitcher, John Tolliver, bats sixth. Hitting seventh is the first baseman, Ryder Robinson. Batting eighth is Maddox Joint, the left fielder, and the right fielder, Reagan Southard, is batting ninth for the Bulldogs. And P.J. Safford wrapping up his warm-up tosses. Talked very briefly about him a second ago, but P.J. making his 6th start of the summer. It's his 13th overall appearance. He carries a 3-1 record. Has given up 35 hits, 16 runs, although just 7 of them earned. He's walked 9 and struck out 39, all for an ERA of 1.15 this summer. Safford has pitched 42 1/3 innings, which is second most on the ball club. The right-hander from Klamath Union High School gets set against Gage Bending. First pitch is a line drive into center field, and West Albany has a base runner. To begin the bottom of the first inning, a line drive single from Bending gets West Albany in the hits column. And so due up now is Austin Thompson for the Bulldogs of West Albany. Thompson is class of 2026, so he'll be a senior next year for the West Albany Bulldogs. Safford comes set. The corner comes in to protect the bunt, but the first pitch misses inside. 1-0 around the diamond for the Falcons. Jacoby Takini is catching. Ian Meyer plays third. Connor Shively at short with Colin Takini at second and Corbin Hamilton at first. We'll give you the Falcons outfield after the 1-0 pitch home to Austin Thompson. That one misses in, count 2-0. In the outfield, it's Ryan Douglas in left, Max Price in center, and Carson Sims in right. Safford takes a look at the runner Bending at first. Bending a fairly aggressive lead off the first base bag as Safford goes with a changeup on the 2-0, gets a swing and a miss. Count moves to 2-1. Bending over there at first. He's class of 27. See what kind of speed he's got as he's getting an extra step or so each time off the bag. This time Safford checks on him. The tag applied, but he's back safely. See if Bending's got something on the move here in the bottom of the first inning. After Thompson in the order for West Albany is Caden Lewis. Here's Safford set with the delivery, goes slider and slots it in, knee level across the plate for a strike. Count is 2-2. to Austin Thompson. That slider from Safford, so devastating this summer. Just has so much late movement. There are some guys on this team where you can tell it's a breaking ball as it comes out of his hands, but sometimes Safford, that slider looks so much like the fastball when it leaves his arm. This time he gets a swing and a miss on an elevated pitch. Down on strikes goes Thompson, and there is one gone in the bottom of the first inning. So this will bring up Caden Lewis for the West Albany Bulldogs. Lewis is a sophomore-to-be for the West Albany Bulldogs. He is class of 2028. Quite a young team for this West Albany Bulldogs squad as Safford drops in a curveball for a strike, 0-1. They've only got one player who will be a senior next year, and that's Austin Thompson, who we just saw strike out. Here's the 0-1 from Safford. That one's lifted in the air towards the right side of the infield. Colin Tacchini settles underneath it. He makes the catch for the second out. So runner remains at first. Now 2 gone for the cleanup hitter, Jacob Bryant. That was, as I was saying, this West Albany team fairly young. A lot of kids who just wrapped up their freshman year. In fact, as I just fire off a quick count, it looks like 8 of their players just wrapped up their freshman year at West Albany. There are a couple guys who will be juniors next year. And like I said, only one will be a senior for West Albany High School next year. Safford gets ahead of the next hitter 0-1. Delivery on the way from Safford, and that time Bryant chases a pitch in the dirt for a strike. It bounced away from Tacchini for a moment, but the young catcher for the Falcons recovering in time and disallowing that runner at first, Gage Bending, to move up any further. And now the count is 0-2 to Bryant, and Safford, dangerous in these situations, can go just about anywhere. Here's the 0-2. It's an inside fastball that's lifted into left field and settles down for a base hit. A big turnaround second, but Bending going to stay there. And so there will be runners at first and second with 2 outs for Trent Roberts. Roberts, the center fielder for West Albany. That's with 2 men on. Bending at second. Bryant at first. Roberts is another one of those guys, class of 2028 for West Albany. And while they're young this season, you look ahead and you say, well, these guys get a ton of good experience. They'll be good for years to come. As that pitch misses downstairs and in, 1-0. And for the Falcons, I think it's somewhat the opposite. I think the Falcons, they're a younger team when you look around the state, sure, at the certain AAA classifications and things like that. But here at the single-A tournament, you think, well, for the Falcons, this might be the year to win this tournament if you're able to find it within yourselves. And you look ahead, guys who would be ineligible to play at the single-A classification next year are vitally important to this year's ball club. As the count is 2-0 to Trent Roberts. They say if you don't play single-A ball next year, well, you don't get to compete in this tournament next year. You'd be competing in AAA, for example, or some other form of summer baseball has always been on the table for the Falcons as well. As that pitch is ripped foul, the count moves to 2-1. So I feel like it's this year or no year for the Falcons here at the single-A state tournament. Safford looking to get his squad out of this bottom of the first inning. The count's 2 balls and a strike to Trent Roberts. There's 2 men on and 2 men out. Here's the delivery. Lifted into the air, right side, but drifting foul out of play, but the count moves to 2-2. Quite a few fans here in attendance at Eagle Point High School, although mostly huddled under the handful of canopies that are strewn about the bleachers. Got some West Albany fans all huddled under one canopy. I could say the same for the Falcons fans, although I think folks down in the basin a little bit more used to the heat and the sun, so we got some folks scattered out with out from underneath the tents here on the Falcons side. The 2-2 pitch is a slider swung on and missed. Down goes Roberts for strike 3, and despite a couple of base hits, West Albany comes away with no runs in the bottom of the first inning. To the top of the second we go on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends. How to fit in. How to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Josh Eldridge, glad to be back with you here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the West Albany Bulldogs 3-0 in the opening round of the 2025 Oregon Single A Legion Baseball State Tournament. And due up this half inning is going to be Carson Sims, along with Ryan Douglas and Max Price. That is 8-9-1 in the Falcons order in the second inning. The pitch on the way from Tolliver is taken for a strike on the outer third against Sims, who falls behind in the count 0-1. Carson this season has had a real breakout year for the Falcons, batting .461 this year for the team. I think going into the year, I thought Sims was going to have a good season. He had a good season with Henley in his first full year starting with them. I don't know if anyone expected him to come out and lead the team in hitting after his sophomore season, but he's done just that and has made a case for one of the better defensive players on the team as well. That time, though, taking strike two, the count of ball and 2 strikes to Sims. Has hit towards the bottom of the order most of the season, but has found himself batting leadoff in occasions where guys have been banged up or missing games or otherwise. 1-2 misses off the plate outside. Count moves to 2-2. And has been one of those guys who've elevated from just a role player to, again, the breakout players this season for the Falcons. The 2-2 misses outside, 3-2. Ryan Douglas on deck for the Falcons as Sims has worked the count full. Tolliver ready to go from the windup. Sims pokes it foul, stays alive. Count is still 3-2. Along with leading the team in hitting at .461. Sims also towards the top of the team in runs scored, but he's also the team leader and has been for most of the year in extra base hits, though this time he swings and misses at strike 3. Tag applied on the dropped third strike, and Sims goes down as the first out in the second inning. Back-to-back Ks for John Tolliver dating back to last inning, and it will bring up again Ryan Douglas. Douglas getting the nod in left field today, has been in and out of the starting lineup as of late, but Douglas on the season batting .301 for the Falcons. First pitch to him misses upstairs. Count goes to 1-0. Douglas hits .301. He's got 22 hits. 5 of those have gone for extra bases. The 1-0 misses high and away. 2-0 the count to Douglas. Lineup turns over next for the Falcons with Max Price on deck. Here's the pitch. Douglas watches a knee-high fastball find the zone. Count moves to 2-1. Douglas, product of Henley High School, awaits the pitch. Swung on and missed. Count moves to 2-2. Douglas will be graduating Henley High School next year, class of 2026 for the Henley Hornets. Here's the 1-2 to him. Count is fouled straight back. Pardon me, count is 2-2 as I have it here. They've got that corrected here on the scoreboard now at the yard. I saw the guy running the scoreboard and the new athletic director. I guess he's not so new anymore, getting ready for his second season. Dave Earnhardt, formerly of the Phoenix Pirates, as Douglas takes that pitch outside, 3-2. Dave was the athletic director for Phoenix for as long as I've been around the Skyline Conference in Southern Oregon sports. He's been now finding himself at Eagle Point High School. He seems to be very happy, and that's great. 3-2. Pitch misses downstairs, and Douglas works a walk here in the top of the second inning. It's always one of the fun things about coming to these tournaments around the people that you see all the time, even from the opposing teams. Something that I like, at least in these tournament settings. Going to see a lot of folks we know. There's 2 other teams from our league at this event. Central Point and Eagle Point, both earning automatic bids. Throw over to first, and Douglas got caught leaning, and he is picked off for the second out in the second inning. Again, that left-hander can be deceitful when trying to deliver home, and that time Douglas was leaning for the second out. Max Price still waiting for the first pitch in his at-bat. He's 0 for 1 in the contest thus far, grounded out in the first inning. Swings and misses at the first pitch here. The count moves to 0-1. Price 0 for 1 today, but bats .357 on the summer for the Falcons. 34 hits, 11 have gone for extra bases. Here he takes a two-seamer running away, and the count moves to 0-2. Looked a little off the plate, but now Price is going to have to defend in a 2-strike count. Settles in about a step closer to the plate. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one misses outside and low, no question. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes to the Falcons' leadoff hitter with Connor Shively waiting on deck. Tolliver getting to work out of the windup. He agrees on the pitch, steps, kicks, and delivers. It is hit into the air, left center field. Should be playable. The left fielder Joint makes the call and makes the catch for the third out. Falcons down in order in the second inning, but they carry a 3-0 lead going to the bottom half next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
It is the bottom of the second inning here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons leading the West Albany Bulldogs 3-0 in the opening round of the Oregon Single A Legion Baseball State Tournament. It'll be the pitcher, John Tolliver, leading off for the Bulldogs, followed by Ryder Robinson and Maddox Joint. That's 6, 7, and 8 in the order for West Albany, going to work against P.J. Safford into the second inning of his start. Gave up a couple of base hits in the first inning, but was able to work out of that jam by striking out the fifth hitter in the order and leaving them both stranded. The first pitch to Tolliver's rolled out to second base. Takini fields it on 2 hops. Had to actually knock it down, but is able to recover in time to make the out. Takini took that hop kind of off his chest. It rattled around in his glove and in his arms for a moment, but was able to collect the ball, make the throw, and record the out on 1 pitch here in the bottom of the second inning. Well, now it's Ryder Robinson for West Albany. Robinson wearing the number 12 and class of 28 for West Albany High School. Safford starts him out with a breaking ball, and the count moves to 0-1. After Robinson in the Bulldogs order, it's Maddox Joint, the left fielder. Here's Safford with the 0-1 pitch. Swings and misses at that one, too. Goes back-to-back sliders to get ahead of the right-handed hitter Robinson. Safford, after using the soft stuff to get ahead, we'll see if he tries to dial up a heater here in an 0-2 count. Kicks and delivers. That goes 3 straight sliders, 3 straight swings, and 3 straight misses for Ryder Robinson. Now there's 2 gone in the bottom of the second inning. Safford's 3rd strikeout of the contest so far. And here's Maddox Joint in the left fielder for West Albany. First pitch is a knee-high fastball across the plate for a strike, 0-1. Safford delivers the 0-1. Hit sharply grounded foul. Count is 0-2. Safford working quickly out there on the hill and ready to deliver the 0-2 pitch. His joint readies in the right-handed batter's box. Safford bounces a pitch to the plate, trying to, I think, get joint to chase, but not close enough to the zone there. More of a waste pitch than anything else. Here's the 1-2 again. Safford's going to go right after him. Drops in a curveball. Strike three looking. Down goes joint. The Bulldogs down in order in the second inning. To the third we go, and the Falcons lead 3-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
It is the top of the third inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com, here live from Eagle Point High School, the Yard, the home of the Oregon State Single-A Legion Baseball Tournament. And in the opening round, the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the West Albany Bulldogs 3-0. Due up here in the top of the third inning is Connor Shively, Jacoby Tacchini, and Colin Tacchini for the Falcons, as John Tolliver, the lefty for the Bulldogs, delivers the first pitch. It misses high and in, and the count moves to 1-0. Shively didn't really get a chance in his first time around, was hit by the pitch on the second offering in his first at-bat. So here's the 1-0. Shively will take that one down and away. Count moves to 2-0. Shively came around and would score the opening run of the ball game after P.J. Safford hit a 2 RBI single in the top of the first inning. Now Shively looking to get another rally started here. The 2-0 pitch to Connor is on its way. That one is a curveball, misses high and in. Count is now 3-0 to Shively. Connor batting .417 this summer for the Falcons. Leads the team in hits with 58 this season as a slider finds the outside corner low and away. But Shively takes a strike. 3-1. Pitch from Tolliver. Popped up into the air, left side in foul territory. Could be playable. The third baseman has to run near the fence, but Thompson puts it away for the first out. Quite a bit of foul territory to make a play in here at the Yard at Eagle Point High School. It's about 17 paces from the dugout to the foul line. Measured it myself earlier today, but that's quite a little bit of room for guys to make plays in foul territories. We've got a visit on the mound for West Albany here in the top of the third inning. Gives us an opportunity to remind you of some of our sponsors here on mybasin.com. Sponsors like the Pacific Power Foundation, who just a couple of weeks ago donated over $300,000 to various organizations around the state of Oregon, including locally the Klamath County Rotary Club, the Oregon Tech Foundation, and Friends of the Children. Big thanks to Pacific Power for coming on board this year, Falcons baseball. It looks like West Albany is making a change here in the top of the third inning. We'll let you know of all their changes coming up in just a moment. So stick around for more Falcons baseball as they lead 3-0 in the top of the third inning of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
It is the bottom of the third inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the West Albany Bulldogs 3-0, and a new pitcher on the mound for West Albany here with one gone in the third. It is Ryder Robinson. The right-hander is class of 2028 for West Albany High School. He replaces John Tolliver on the mound. And as far as defensive switches go for West Albany, it's just a straight-across swap between the first baseman and the pitcher. So Tolliver is now patrolling first, and Robinson comes in from playing first a moment ago. That's the changes for West Albany. Again, there's one out here in the bottom of the third inning. It was Connor Shively who flew out to start the inning. And now it'll be Jacoby Tacchini. Then Colin Tacchini still due up to hit this frame for the Falcons. Jacoby Tacchini 0 for 1 in the contest so far today. He flew out to center field back in the first inning. But the starting catcher for the Falcons today steps into the right-handed batter's box. He'll be the first task for Ryder Robinson coming in relief. And the first pitch is a called strike. Count moves to 0-1. And with the bases empty, and one gone here in the third, we can give you the final line score on John Tolliver. See how he finished up here in just a moment as the second pitch to Tacchini misses wide. The count is 1-1. Tolliver pitched 2 1/3 innings in his start, giving up 2 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 2 in his start today. Now handing things over to Robinson, who delivers the 1-1 pitch, hit in the air, center field. Moving over is the center fielder Roberts, has to go a long way, is unable to make the catch. And Tacchini will get on base. Center fielder Roberts had to run a long way. You think that probably should have been the right fielder's baseball to get to. But regardless, Tacchini's on first. Chase Barrett will come in and run for him, and in steps Colin Tacchini. We'll see how the official scorer scores that for Jacoby Tacchini. It'd probably go in as a single, I would imagine. That's what I would give it, but we'll see what the official score designates here in just a moment as Colin Tacchini gets ready to step in. Colin walked his first time around and came in to score in the first inning. Here's a ground ball to short. Bryant comes up with it. The throw to first is going to take the first baseman off the back. And so Colin Tacchini reaches on the error. There's no question about that scoring effort. It'll also move Chase Barrett up to second. And by the way, the official scoring giving Jacoby saying he reached on an error. And so we'll put E8 in the book. See what our official scorer says about that once we get back to Kiger Stadium and assess all the things that need to be assessed after tonight's game. But as of right now, Jacoby Tacchini having reached on an error a moment ago. Chase Barrett now running instead. He winds up at second base after Colin reached on an error. So there are 2 men on and 1 man out for P.J. Safford. So after a quick conversation in the infield for West Albany, they are ready to attack Safford here in the top of the third inning. Here's the pitch. Both runners on the move and a ground ball to the left side of the infield. A diving attempt by Thompson, but he's not going to be able to come up with it. Everybody is safe and the bases are loaded for Ian Meyer. Great opportunity now for Ian with the bases loaded after P.J. Safford legs out an infield single. Chase Barrett to third, Colin Tacchini to second. Ian Meyer came up with an RBI double his last time up, sent a shot over the head of the left fielder joint, and knocked in a run. Now the infield comes in for West Albany as they'll take a force out at home to try to keep things where they are. The Falcons in front 3-0. Meyer swings through a curveball on the first pitch and falls behind 0-1. After Meyer in the Falcons' order, it is Corbin Hamilton on deck for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Ryder Robinson in some hot water here. Here's the 0-1. It's a curveball, perfectly placed for strike 2. Started inside, looped back across the zone. Now Meyer's going to have to get defensive in an 0-2 count. Just trying to put the ball in play here could pay off dividends. Again, already 2 errors in this frame for West Albany. Put the ball in play, could create some chaos. Here's the 0-2 to Meyer. He hits a line drive down the left field line, but it just bends foul. Meyer got a piece of it. Now he's got to time it up right. Still behind in the count, 0-2. Chase Barrett at third, Colin Takini at second, and Ryan Glidden aboard at first and is a courtesy runner for PJ. All right, now coming out of the windup is Ryder Robinson. The 0-2 is going to hit Meyer, and the Falcons will score a run here in the top of the third, and they lead 4-0. As Chase Barrett touches home, over to third is Colin Takini, Ryan Glidden to second, and Corbin Hamilton at the plate now for the Falcons. Hamilton struck out his first time up. That was to end the first inning. But now a golden opportunity for Corbin with the bases loaded. Here's the first pitch. Ground ball left side of the infield. Picked up by the third baseman, Thompson. He tries to throw home, but he airmails it over the catcher. 1 run in to score. Glidden comes in to score. Advancing to third is Ian Meyer. And the Falcons lead 6-0. They'll have runners at the corners with just 1 out. Errors plaguing the Bulldogs here in the third. That is their 3rd error this inning, and it has led to 3 Falcons runs. At the corners, and Carson Sims to bat now for Klamath Falls. See if they've got Hamilton in any kind of motion. The second baseman bending. He seems to know that something could be on with Hamilton there at first. But the first pitch by Sims is lifted into the air, shallow right field. The right fielder, Southard, comes in and makes the catch, but tagging from third to score is Ian Meyer. The throw in is not in time. Meyer scores. And a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Carson Sims gives the Falcons a 7-0 lead. Great base running there for the Falcons. Meyer scores. Sims getting the sacrifice on that attempt. There are now 2 outs in the inning for Ryan Douglas, and for Sims, that's RBI number 21 on the season for him. And, well, for Meyer, that is run scored number 27 on the summer for Meyer. Now here's Ryan Douglas. He walked his first time up. Here's the pitch on the way from Robinson. It is a bouncing ball left side of the infield, through into left field, and a hit and run executed well for the Falcons. The shortstop, Bryant, came out of position to cover the second base bag as Hamilton was taken off, and then he wasn't home when the ball was hit to shortstop, giving Douglas the single, extending this third inning. Back to the top of the order now for Max Price. Price 0 for 2 in the ball game thus far. He's grounded out and flown out to this point. But here in the third inning, getting his third at-bat, trying to keep this rally alive for the Falcons. The first pitch misses outside. The count is 1-0. Remember, it was John Tolliver who got the first out of this inning on just a couple of pitches against Connor Shively. Since then, it has been back-to-back errors, a single, a hit batsman, add in another error. Sims had a sacrifice fly, then followed by the most recent Douglas single. It's been tough sailing for Robinson since coming in relief, and already he's behind 2-0 in the count to Max Price. Falcons maybe seeing the ball out of the right hand a lot better than they were out of the left-handed starter today. As that pitch misses away, the count is 3-0 to Max Price. And again, Shively's on deck. He got this party started. Even with an out, he led off this inning for the Falcons. All right, set on the mound is Robinson. And the pitch is going to miss down. No. It's a little bit below the knees. The count is 3-1 to Max Price. Score 7-0 Falcons here in the top of the third inning of the opening round of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. And a pitch misses outside to Price. That will reload the bases as Corbin Hamilton advances to third. Ryan Douglas goes to second. Price aboard on a walk. And here is Shively, the team leader in runs batted in, bats here with the bases loaded. First pitch on the way from Robinson. The right-hander delivers. Shively chases out of the zone. The count is 0-1. Shively 0 for 1 in this contest. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning, and he came around to score. But earlier this inning, popped out in foul territory to third base. Here's the pitch to Shively. He swings and misses at that one. Count moves to 0-2. It's a left-handed stick for the Falcons. Shively's going to have to settle back in, get defensive on the outside. Re-enters the left-handed batter's box and awaits the offering from Robinson. Hits the sign from Lewis, who gives the target. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball to the right side, gloved by Tolliver at first. He takes it to the first base bag himself, and that will do it in the third inning. But the Falcons score 4 runs, and they only need 2 base hits to do it. They leave the bases loaded, and they lead 7-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
It's the bottom of the third inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons in front of the West Albany Bulldogs 7-0 in the opening round of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. It'll be 9-1-2 due up this half inning for West Albany. That's Reagan Southard, Gage Bending, and Austin Thompson. P.J. Safford working on the third inning of his start this afternoon. Set down the side in order his last time up, and he's looking for more of the same as Reagan Southard gets ready to lead off for West Albany. Here's the first pitch to Southard. It's a foul ball off the right side. Count moves to 0-1. West Albany appearing here in the Single-A Legion tournament. They also appeared in the 5A Oregon State tournament during the prep season, as the Bulldogs were the number 10 seed coming into the 5A state playoffs, as Safford uses the slider to get ahead there 0-2. West Albany finished second in their league, the Mid-Willamette Conference, behind Corvallis in that league, as Safford misses inside with the slider that time. But the difference between those two squads was only a single game and 1 spot in the rankings. Really tightly competitive league between West Albany and Corvallis. Down looking goes the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the third inning. That's Reagan Southard for the first out. And for PJ, that is strikeout number 5 in the contest so far. Back to the top of the order now for the Bulldogs. It's Gage Bending. Bending singled in his first at-bat in the first inning, but was left stranded in scoring position here. Safford goes with the off-speed pitch to get ahead 0-1. He's been doing that here through the first handful of innings, going soft to get ahead, and then finishing off with a fastball. Safford again off-speed on the 0-1 pitch, finds the zone 0-2. And we'll see, he's on 3 straight breaking balls on a couple of occasions. Here he comes again with the 0-2. That slider misses in the dirt, but not a bad pitch in an 0-2 count. Moves the count to 1-2. On deck for West Albany is Austin Thompson. Safford looks in, agrees on the sign from Takini, delivers the pitch. Strike 3 looking, knee high on the breaking ball, and Down goes Bending for the second out in the third inning. Safford making quick work of these hitters here in the third inning. It brings up Austin Thompson. Wanted to finish up my thought about West Albany, though, during the prep season after earning the 10th seed in the OSAA 5A state tournament. They actually upset Crater in Central Point in the first round, a 5-4 victory for the Bulldogs against the Comets in the first round. Now, right after that, they ran into 2-seed Thurston, who promptly eliminated them 16-7 in the quarterfinal. But still a good season for the West Albany prep team, who has been surging as of late. Maybe this past season was a step down overall, but ever since Marty Johnson took over the program, it had been improvements up until this last season in 2025. They won 19 games in 2022, 23 games in 2023, 26 games in 2024 before collecting 16 this past springtime. The count is 3-1 to Austin Thompson as Safford looks to battle back into this at-bat. Here is the 3-1 pitch. It misses inside. And so a walk delivered to the third baseman for West Albany brings up Caden Lewis. First walk delivered by Safford today comes with 2 outs in the third inning. Caden Lewis, the catcher, stepping in now. He is 0 for 1 in the ball game thus far. He popped out to second base. That was in the first inning. Fairly aggressive lead for Thompson off of first. Safford looks at him before coming set, fires in a slider, called a strike, knee high across the plate. Middle of the plate, really. The count is 0-1. And that slider with so much late movement from Safford has been freezing up these West Albany hitters in the first couple of times through the order. See if anything changes for this young ball club. It's really the second time through. As Lewis behind in the count 0-1. Safford comes together and delivers the pitch. That one skips away from Takini, and Thompson will advance on the wild pitch. Count is 1-1 to Lewis, with Jake and Bryant waiting on deck for West Albany. Temperature continues to climb on a sunny day here in Eagle Point. First pitch at 90 degrees, up to 92 now. Not complaining, of course. Just a wonderful day for baseball to kick off the 2025 state tournament. Time is called by the batter as Lewis steps out, then settles back in. Safford resettles on the rubber and now comes set. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It is fouled off. Count moves to a ball and 2 strikes to Caden Lewis. Young right-handed hitter for West Albany settles back in. He'll have to protect against Safford in a 2-strike count. Keeps his knees bent in the right-handed batter's box. Here's the pitch. Safford kicks, delivers, swung on and missed. Down goes Lewis. 3 strikeouts in the third inning. Safford leaves a man in scoring position, and the Falcons lead going to the fourth, 7-0 in the opening round of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Wait, all I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
It is the top of the fourth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com, live here at the Yard at Eagle Point High School for the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. In the opening round of the tournament, the Klamath Falls Falcons lead 7-0 against West Albany. The Falcons have 7 runs on 4 hits. They've committed no errors, and they've left 4 runners on base. For West Albany thus far, no runs on 2 hits. The Bulldogs have committed 3 errors, and they have left 3 runners on base to this point in the contest. Due up here in the top of the 4th inning for the visiting Klamath Falls Falcons, Jacoby Takini, Colin Takini, and P.J. Safford. That's 3, 4, and 5 in the Klamath Falls order. Still against Ryder Robinson on the hill for West Albany. Had a little bit of trouble escaping that 3rd inning, although defense didn't particularly help him. 3 errors in the 3rd inning for West Albany allowed the Falcons to score 4 of their 7 runs. They only needed 2 hits to score all those runs last inning, again aided by those 3 errors and a couple of walks as well in that inning. It was the first pitch to Takini. I believe was called a ball, although I missed the signal. I believe it's 1-0. Here's the offering to Takini. That one misses inside, no question. The count is now 2-0 to Jacoby, who is 0 for 2 in the ball game. Jacoby flew out in the 1st inning. He reached on an error in the 3rd, and his courtesy runner, Chase Barrett, would come in and score later on that inning. Right now, the count to Jacoby is 3-0 after that pitch missed off the inside. Now getting ready to throw again. Ryder Robinson. It looks like the Falcons have got someone up and moving in their own bullpen, too, as the 3-0 pitch finds the zone. The count's 3-1. Looks like Max Price getting warm-up tosses over there for the Falcons just behind the first base dugout. The 3-1 pitch to Takini. He's going to foul it off his front shin, and the count moves to 3-2. Let Jacoby walk that one off for a second. Never feels good. Looks like he's going to be okay. Jacoby Takini this season batting .362. The Klamath Falls Falcons gets on base at a 45% clip, which is towards the top of the team in that metric. I believe that puts him 4th most on the team. All right, 3-2 to Jacoby Takini to lead off the top of the 4th inning. Rolls the ball foul down the 3rd base side, and the count remains full, 3-2. Again, Colin Takini waits on deck for the Falcons. Robinson ready to deliver from the windup, gets the sign in from Lewis and agrees. The 3-2. Line drive, center field, base hit. Great piece of 2-strike hitting there for Jacoby getting on base, and that also means Chase Barrett gets on base. And so Chase over there running at first, and in steps Colin Takini. Colin has reached base a couple of times today, once on a walk and once on an error. Came around to score both times as that pitch misses upstairs. The count 1-0. By the way, that previous hit there for Jacoby Takini, extending his hitting streak up to 9 games now. The young man for Klamath Falls. Impressive streak there for Jacoby. Here is the 1-0 to Colin. Another curveball, although this one finds the inside corner. And the count moves to 1-1. After Colin, it's P.J. Safford who waits on deck for the Falcons. Chase Barrett, fairly aggressive lead off of first, about 5 steps off the bag. Here's the pitch. It's a knee-high fastball, maybe framed up a little bit by Lewis behind the dish. Regardless, called strike 2. And Colin going to have to protect that outside corner. Falcons have only gone down on strikes twice today. That time Colin takes one inside, 2-2. Looking to get on base for the 3rd time today. Colin's still looking for his first hit of the day, but he bats .330 on the season. Barrett leads off of first. Here's the 2-2. Off-speed pitch to Keeney. It's a ground ball past the 3rd baseman into left field. Chase Barrett advances to second on the base hit, and it brings up P.J. Safford with 2 on and nobody out. Back-to-back singles to start this inning for the Falcons. They seem to be picking up right where they left off in the third. Safford singled in the third. He also singled in the first. And when he got his base hit in the first inning, he knocked in 2 runs. For him on the season, 37 RBI. And he's now up to 43 hits on the summer. Safford showing bunt this time, pushes it past the pitcher, and nobody's home. The shortstop going to cover the bag on the steal, and nobody is there. P.J. Safford with, we'll call it another infield single. Great job by P.J. That loads the bases. Chase to third, Colin to second, and P.J. aboard at first, or loaded up for Ian Meyer. Safford has been so good this year. You just have confidence in him to make contact with the ball in those hit-and-run situations. I can't think of very many opportunities where he hasn't been able to come through in that situation. Here's a ground ball back up the middle, gloved by the shortstop. Takes the first baseman off the bag, but tag applied to Ian Meyer hustling down the line. In the meantime, Chase Barrett comes in to score. And the score now 8-0 Falcons on the RBI ground out from Ian Meyer. It keeps runners at second and third. Now there's 1 out, and it's Corbin Hamilton to bat now for the Falcons. Let's see. Looks like Safford was courtesy run for by Ryan Glidden out there at second. So again, Glidden at second, Colin Takini at third. The first pitch to Hamilton is called a strike. The count is 0-1. Hamilton is without a hit yet today. He struck out and reached on an error. Pitch to Hamilton, swung on and missed. Kicks away from the catcher, but staying at third is Colin Takini, not going anywhere. But the count is 0-2 to Corbin after chasing that pitch in the dirt. He'll have to battle here down in the count with Carson Sims waiting on deck for the Falcons. Was 3 straight singles to start this frame for the Klamath 9, followed by that RBI ground out for Ian Meyer. But the infield remains in for West Albany, even though there's no force at home, as Corbin Hamilton swings over the top of a curveball, strike 3, and now there's 2 gone for Carson Sims. It's the second time that Corbin has gone down on strikes so far in this ball game. And Carson Sims has struck out once, though. He also hit a sacrifice fly and earned an RBI in the 4-run third inning for the Falcons. Sims now with 2 men in scoring position and a fresh count against Ryder Robinson. The pitch is a 2-seamer, misses inside. Count moves to 1-0. That 2-seam fastball starts over the plate, maybe a touch inside, but Sims doing a nice job of recognizing it as it tails back inside out of the zone. And he gets ahead 1-0. The pitch from Robinson. This time Sims rips it into left field, and that'll roll for a day. Both runs will come in and score. Sims turns around first, heads for second, and a 2 RBI double makes it 10-0 Falcons in the top of the 4th inning. 3 RBI on the day for Sims, his first hit, and in steps Ryan Douglas. That second pitch pretty much in the same location as the first pitch that Sims took for a ball, but this time Carson was able to start his swing early, connect the barrel to the ball, and rip it down the line for a 2 RBI double, putting his team up by 10. Here's the first pitch to Douglas. He swings and lifts one into shallow right field. Could be trouble. That one gets down, but foul. Just foul for Douglas. He'll have to head back to the right-handed batter's box down to the count 0-1. And for Sims, who is already rounding third and headed for home, he'll have to go all the way back to second. So there's 2 gone for the Falcons in the top of the 4th inning of a 10-run ball game. 1 man on is Carson Sims. He stands at second. And Ryan Douglas at the plate. He's 1 for 1 today. Douglas, after walking in the 2nd inning, picked up a single in the 3rd. Here's the 0-1 to Douglas. That one drifts outside, maybe a touch high as well. The count is even to Douglas. This season, Ryan Douglas batting .301 for the Falcons. Here's the pitch. That one is popped up right side in foul territory. The first baseman, Tolliver, will run out of room. And the count is now ball and 2 strikes to Douglas. On deck, if we get there, Max Price Gets those warm-up swings in for the Falcons. All right, here's Douglas back in the right-handed batter's box. Spreads his feet out for a strong base and a 2-strike count. Here it comes. Douglas hits it out in front of the mound. I believe it might have caught his ankle or something of that nature. It's a foul ball. And the count will remain 1-2. Douglas going to walk that one off for a moment, but looks to be ready to go. Again, the winner of this contest today advances to play tomorrow night at 5 o'clock against Eugene. Whereas the loser stays alive in the tournament, double elimination. They'll play Redmond tomorrow. Here's the 1-2. That one is in the dirt, gets away from the catcher, Lewis, and advancing to third is Carson Sims on the wild pitch. The count will be 2-2 to Ryan Douglas, and now with a runner at third in the person of Sims, Douglas, a base hit will still score Carson. Not much changes for Douglas's approach at the plate, I don't think. He settles back in, keeps his hands low. Set on the mound is Robinson. He kicks and delivers. Douglas stays alive again, but again fouls it off his leg. He's beating himself up in the right-handed batter's box. Going to have to walk it off. This is the third time the ball's hit him in this at-bat. So now the catcher and the infield, and I think everyone's just trying to give Ryan a little bit of a rest out there as the pitching coach comes out for West Albany to discuss things with his pitcher. Unless this is a pitch count situation, we'll keep tabs on that. But first, want to remind you that today's broadcast of the Oregon Single-A Legion State Tournament is brought to you by Gino's Cafe and Sports Bar, as well as Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union and Coldwell Banker. And it looks like that must be the pitch count limit that they set for Ryder Robinson as a new pitcher comes in. Did you say 45? 45 pitches there for Robinson, so he is done, and a new pitcher in for West Albany. We'll introduce him to you on the other side as the Falcons lead 10-0 in the top of the fourth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
New pitcher in the game for West Albany here in the top of the fourth inning in a 10-0 ball game in which the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Bulldogs. It is Grant Bending on the hill for West Albany. No, pardon me. It is Cameron Nelson, number 15, not number 5. Missed that there. So Cameron Nelson getting the ball here for West Albany as he will try to limit the damage here against the Falcons, who've already scored 3 runs in this inning. And one more in scoring position with Carson Sims at third, although a 2-strike count to Ryan Douglas. Pitch misses high, and the count is full to Ryan Douglas. So Robinson exited the game in the middle of the at-bat against Douglas. He had reached 45 pitches, which is the number to keep you at 1 day's rest, meaning he can come back and pitch Friday so long as West Albany is still competing in the tournament. As Douglas takes ball 4 high and away, count resets now. 2 men on, 2 men out for Max Price. Second walk for Ryan Douglas this afternoon. He walked in the second inning as well. He also mixed in a single in there in the third inning. But now it's up to Max Price, who walked his last time up. Price was left stranded at first. Otherwise, he's grounded out and flown out this point in the ball game. Here's the pitch. Curveball misses high and away. Count is 1-0 to Max. On the season, bats .357 for the Falcons. On deck after Price is Connor Shively. Cameron Nelson comes set. Nelson just wrapping up his freshman season at West Albany this past springtime. As he loops in a breaking ball called a strike against Price, the count is even at 1. Carson Sims stands at third. He hit a 2 RBI double earlier this inning. Ryan Douglas is still at first after earning the walk a moment ago. The pitch into Price is popped up to the right side in foul territory, but catcher is unable to get there. That ball had a ton of backspin on it and just dropped to the turf, and so unable to make a play was Lewis, and we'll do it again, although this time the count is 1-2 to Max Price. Right-hander settles back in. The lefty Nelson comes set. And the delivery. That one just misses outside, and the count is even. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Falcons' center fielder. All right, here comes Nelson. That one misses wide, and the count is 3-2. Modest lead off of first for Douglas. And a 3-2 count at the plate to Max Price. Hit in the air, left side this time. This could be playable. No one's able to get to it, though. As Thompson, the third baseman, and the pitcher Nelson gave chase. And so Price stays alive in this at-bat. Count remains full, 3-2. Again, Price worked a walk his last time up. He's seen quite a few pitches today. Here's the 3-2. And that one misses wide. It'll load the bases. Good at bat there by Max Price. Second time he's earned a walk today. Back-to-back walks by Cameron Nelson, although the first one he only threw 2 pitches in, so kind of hard to blame him entirely for that situation. But I did walk Max Price to load the bases, and now here's Connor Shively, and for the second time today, the team leader in RBI gets a chance to bat with the bases loaded. We'll see if Shively is able to come up this time around for his teams. He takes ball 1 high, 1-0. Last time Shively hit in this spot, he grounded out. That was last inning. Here's the 1-0 to Shively. That one is called a strike on the outside. Count is even. Now to Shively at 1. On deck, if the inning continues, it is Jacoby Takini. Pitch to Shively. Takes that one high. The count is 2-1. Good take there for Shively. Looked like a good pitch out of the hands of Nelson, but just hung up there and stayed out of the zone. And now the 2-1. Ground ball back up the middle. The second baseman bending, slides to come up with it. The throw to first is not in time. Shively beats it, and a run scores. Sims touches home. Advancing to third is Douglas. Advancing to second is Price. Shively aboard after the infield single. Give him an RBI. That is RBI number 43 for Shively on the summer. And here is Jacoby Takini, who started this inning earlier with a leadoff single. And Chase Barrett would come around to score after Takini reached base. Now able to work out of the windup. Here's Cameron Nelson still with the bases loaded in an 11-0 ball game. Takini hits one foul out of play on the right side. Jacoby settles back in. Here's the offering from Nelson. That one misses high and away. The count is even now, to ball and a strike to Jacoby. Hits .362 on the summer for the Falcons and has 37 RBI. The 1-1. The bases loaded, called a strike. Count 1-2 on the outside corner to the right-handed hitting Takini. Falcons have been good hitting with 2 strikes so far today. We'll see how Takini's approach fares against Nelson. Here's the delivery. Takini stays alive. Caught a piece of it on the outside, and the count remains a ball and 2 strikes to the Falcons catcher. Colin Takini is on deck should the inning continue for Klamath Falls. The 1-2. Nelson delivers. Takini rips a ball on the ground, through into left field. 1 run is in. They're waving in Max Price. He will score. Throw to try and get Shively at second is not in time. 2 runs score for Jacoby Takini as Douglas in from third. In from second was Max Price. Shively advancing to second, and the Falcons lead 13-0 here in the top of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. Curveball misses high. Count is 1-0 to Connor Shively. A couple of runs batted in there for Takini, make him 2 for 4 on the afternoon as well. Here's the 1-0. It is going to miss outside, 2-0. Takini singled earlier this inning, came around to score. Otherwise, he reached on an error in the 3rd inning and scored then. He also walked in the 1st inning and scored then too. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Colin. Fly ball right side. Right fielder Southard giving chase near the foul line. He will make the catch and end the inning. But the Falcons, they score 6 runs here in the 4th inning, and they lead 13-0 heading to the bottom of the 4th next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At MyBasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
It's the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead 13-0 against the West Albany Bulldogs. We've got a new pitcher into the game for the Falcons, and that's Max Price. Price on the season is making his 10th appearance on the mound this year. It's his 9th in relief. He carries a 2-2 record, has given up 16 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. He's walked 7 and struck out 17, all for an ERA of .667 through 21 innings. Price, in his limited role on the mound this season, has been lights out. It's been the role they've needed him to play to come in and close ball games just like this one, where you're up big in the late going and set up for a potential mercy rule finish as long as you can get the job done. And they trust Max Price to get the job done. Other defensive changes for the Falcons. We'll just go ahead and reset the full 9 for you. As Jacoby Takini is catching, P.J. Safford remains in the game at third, Connor Shively at short, Colin Takini at second, and Ian Meyer at first. The outfield after the first pitch to Jake and Bryant is called a strike. Count is 0-1. Ryan Douglas plays left. I don't think that's Douglas anymore. That might be Carson Pimley in left. We'll make sure of that here in a moment. Carson Sims is in center, and Ryan Glidden is in right. The count is 1-1 at the plate for Jake and Bryant. Fouls that one back. The count is a ball and 2 strikes to Bryant, who's 1 for 1 today. Bryant singled in the first inning. Was left stranded in that first inning. All right. Price ready to deliver the 1-2. Here it comes. Swung on and missed, and a big strikeout there to get the first guy in the bottom of the third inning. Bryant down swinging. There's one gone. Here's Trent Roberts. Roberts 0 for 1 in the ball game today. Roberts struck out in the first inning. The pitch from Price is fisted out to shortstop. Shively plays it on a hop. The throw on to Meyer at first is in time, and now there's two gone in the fourth inning. Well played there by Shively at short. Could have gotten aggressive and charged after that ball, but decided to let it come to him. Played it on a hop and played it well enough to get the out at first. Now there's two gone in the fourth inning, and it brings up the starting pitcher turned first baseman, John Tolliver, who is 0 for 1 in the ball game today. Tolliver grounded out in the second inning. This pitch is hit hard to right field. Glidden is going back. That one is over his head and is going to roll to the wall. Tolliver rounds first, heads for second, and he will get in there safely. A two-out double for John Tolliver really gave that one a ride, and it brings up Ryder Robinson. Robinson 0 for 1 today. He struck out back in the second inning. Pardon me, this will actually be Nelson batting in the spot of Robinson. This will be Cameron Nelson getting his first at-bat here in the fourth inning. Nelson batting from the left side, getting a look at Price. Here's the first offering, called a strike, and the count moves to 0-1. Price looks in, gets the signal from Tacchini. Now comes set. The pitch is offered up at and missed, and the count moves to 0-2. On deck, if the inning continues, is Maddox Joint for West Albany. Count is 0-2, and Price comes together on the hill. Here's the offering. Swung on and missed. Goes off speed to get the swing and the miss, and that will retire the side. A two-out double does not come in with a run for John Tolliver, so he is left stranded. And it's a 13-0 ball game as we go to the fifth in favor of the Falcons on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
Top of the fifth inning for the opening game of the Oregon Single-A Legion State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. In game one of the tournament, Klamath Falls Falcons with a commanding 13-run lead in the top of the fifth inning. It'll be P.J. Safford, followed by Ian Meyer, followed by Ryan Glidden this half inning for the Klamath Falls Falcons. And the first pitch to Safford is going to be taken upstairs 1-0. P.J. Safford 3 for 3 today with 2 RBI in the contest. He's also scored 3 runs today. As the 1-0 misses outside, the count is 2-0, although the most recent at-bat for PJ might be the one he remembers most. Laid down a bunt single to move a couple of guys over in that at-bat. It was the first bunt single, not of this summer for PJ, not of his high school career, but of his baseball career. So Safford, I'm sure, is feeling pretty good about that bunt single. Here he takes a strike in the 3-0 count. Count moves to 3-1. Aside from that bunt single, like I said, he's really been seeing the ball well today. Picked up a 2 RBI single in the first inning, got through a quality start on the mound, having only fired 41 pitches. He'll be eligible to pitch in just a couple of days. Safford doing what's asked of him on the mound, and here working a leadoff walk on the 3-1 pitch. It misses outside, and that is how we get started in the top of the fifth. This will be the first time Safford has run around the bases, so I should make an amendment. The 5-hole has scored 3 runs today. Safford himself hasn't necessarily done it, as the courtesy runners have come in for him. But now we'll get a chance to run the bases here in the 5th inning. It's the first pitch called a strike to Ian Meyer. It just floated across the middle of the zone. Meyer today is 1 for 2. He doubled in a run in the first inning, was hit by a pitch, and scored in the third, and he knocked in a run on a ground out in the fourth. Here he sends a ground ball back to the pitcher, on to second for 1. They get the back end. A 1-6-3 double play, and there are now 2 gone in the top of the 5th inning for Ryan Glidden. Glidden hitting in the 7 spot in the order here, replacing Corbin Hamilton in the lineup. Hamilton exits the game after going 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts, although he did reach base once on an error. That came in the 3rd inning. Falcons with a 13-0 lead here in the 5th. They'll look to close out a mercy rule win in the bottom half. Pitch to Glidden, misses upstairs. Count is 1-1. First time we'll see Glidden swing the bat today on the season for Ryan. He is, well, that pitch misses outside. Was pulling up his batting stance here. Glidden is batting .238 for the Falcons this summer. He's got 10 hits in just over 40 tries. The 2-1 misses upstairs. The count is 3-1 to Glidden. On deck for the Falcons is Carson Sims. The 3-1 to Glidden. Swings underneath the fastball, and the count is full. Base is empty for the Falcons in the top of the 5th inning. The lefty Nelson steps and delivers from the windup. That pitch to Glidden misses, and he will get on first via the walk, and it brings up Carson Sims. Sims today has got 3 RBI. He struck out his first time up, but since then has been productive. A sacrifice fly with an RBI in the 3rd inning, followed that act up with a 2 RBI double in the 4th. And here's the pitch to Sims. Misses high and tight. The count is 1-0. That double for Sims, his last time around, was his 14th double of the season. He leads the team in that metric and in extra base hits overall this season as he takes ball 2 inside. Sims this season with 15 extra base hits. Next most on the team would be Jacoby Tacchini. He's got 13. The 2-0 misses upstairs. The count is 3-0. All right, Sims well ahead in the count. Carson Pimley is on deck as Sims takes a looping breaking ball for a strike. The count moves to 3-1. Set on the mound is Nelson after allowing the 2-out walk to Glidden. Fires from the stretch. And here's a pop fly to the right side, shallow right field, but the second baseman bending makes the catch and retires the side. The Falcons strand 1, no base hits. They get it on a walk, but they lead 13-0 as they look to close things out in the bottom of the 5th inning. In the opening round of the Oregon Single A Legion Baseball State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person, I love to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon, soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
Bottom of the fifth inning here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. As Klamath Falls Falcons lead the West Albany Bulldogs in the opening round of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament, 13-0. Corbin Hamilton getting the ball out there for the Falcons. He'll look to wrap up this ball game in convincing fashion in a mercy rule for the Falcons. Taking a look at the numbers for Corbin on the season, Hamilton is making his 12th appearance of the summer. This will be his 6th in relief. Hamilton carries a 6-1 record. He has pitched 32 2/3 innings with an ERA of 6.43. That's .643, I should say. A sub-1 ERA for Hamilton through nearly 33 innings on the summer. He's been splendid this year, and they're using him here in Game 1 of the tournament. Here's the first pitch. Firm fastball, strike one to get ahead of Maddox Joint. Hamilton is going to provide a very different look than not only his predecessor, Max Price, but also the starter, P.J. Safford. Hamilton has got that devastating breaking pitch, but Hamilton's difference maker is his fastball. He just has so much velocity behind it, and he goes 3 straight fastballs, gets 3 straight swings, and 3 straight misses from Maddox Joint. A strikeout here in the 5th inning. That's the second time Joint has gone down on strikes today. There's 1 gone for Reagan Southard. Pardon me. A pinch hitter is Glenn Gibb. Gibb, class of 28 for West Albany High School. He'll get his first look at Corbin Hamilton today. The first offering from Corbin misses wide. Count is 1-0. After Southard in the order is Gage Bending. It's the 1 spot, whoever might be filling that spot. Can't quite make out if it's Bending or not in the on-deck circle, but here's a ground ball back up the middle. Hamilton, it hits off his glove, has to recover quickly. Throw on to Meyer at first is in time. And a great recovery by Hamilton. Took his eye off the ball when trying to field it the first time, but was able to gather and make the throw. 1-3 in the book, and there's quickly 2 gone. The Bulldogs are down to their final out in the opening game of the tournament. And it is Gage Bending, who's 1 for 2 in the contest today. He singled in the first inning, and he struck out in the third. First pitch on the way from Hamilton is a curveball, maybe a slider. Regardless, it misses in, and the count is 1-0. After Bending, if the game continues, it's Austin Thompson. But Hamilton evens up the count, gets a swinging strike from Bending. As he settles back out there, looks into Jacoby, gets the signal. Hamilton ready to deliver, the 1-1. Fastball knee-high, strike 2, and the Bulldogs down to their final strike of the opening game of the 2025 Oregon State Legion Baseball State Tournament. The 1-2. Looked at for ball 2, bounces to the plate, and the count is even. Hamilton takes a deep breath before beginning his delivery. The 2-2. Checks his swing. Did he go? No, he did not. It was a pitch that bounced to the plate, and Bending is able to work the count full. It's now 3-2. Hamilton trying to find that put-away pitch. The 3-2 from Hamilton is a ground ball to the left side, under the glove of Safford and into left. And a 2-out single for Gage Bending will bring up Austin Thompson. Thompson is 0 for 1 today. He struck out in the first inning and walked in the third. He was left stranded in scoring position in that third inning. Again, our score is 13-0. The Falcons in front of West Albany. The Bulldogs needing to score 4 runs in this inning to extend the ball game. Here's the pitch. It misses low. 1-0. Bending, after reaching on the base hit, takes about a 3.5 4-step lead off of first base. Here's the 1-0 pitch home from Corbin. Hit in the air, right side, foul, out of play. Count is even at 1. Hamilton's not paying much attention to the runner at first, and he doesn't have to. Ultimately, if that run comes across to score, it doesn't change all that much for the Falcons. As again, West Albany needing 4 here in this frame. Here's the 1-1. This one's hit into the air, shallow right field, playable. Someone's got to make a call. It is Colin Takini who makes the catch on the run and ends the ball game. The Klamath Falls Falcons victorious in the first game of the Oregon Single-A Legion State Tournament. 13-0 the final score. We'll be back to recap it for you in just a moment on 104.3 and 960 Sports with live free video this afternoon on mybasin.com. Stick around. We'll be back in just a moment from the yard at Eagle Point High School.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Josh Eldridge back with you here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Game 1 of the Falcons' road to an Oregon State championship has gone final. They defeat West Albany 13-0. They do so with 9 hits, committing no errors and leaving 6 runners on base. For West Albany, no runs for them, but they had 4 hits. They committed 4 errors. They left 5 runners on base. The winning pitcher today, P.J. Safford, who pitched the first 3 innings, striking out 7 batters and allowing 2 hits. The losing pitcher in today's contest was John Tolliver, who pitched 2 1/3 innings for West Albany, giving up 2 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned. He walked 2 and struck out 2. Let's take a look at how the Falcons did offensively, but first, our Pacific Power play of the day. Got to think about this one. It feels like everybody had a pretty good day for the Falcons this afternoon. I'll go with the RBI double from Carson Sims. A 2 RBI double in the 4th inning. Pretty much put the game out of reach, although West Albany wound out being shut out. So really the first run was out of reach for the Bulldogs. But ultimately a 2 RBI double for Sims in the 4th inning would be my Pacific Power play of the day. Otherwise, for the Falcons, Connor Shively finished 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Jacoby Takini was 2 for 4 with 2 RBI and 2 runs scored. Colin Takini, although he didn't have any hits, did score 3 runs today. P.J. Safford was 3 for 3 with 2 RBI and a few runs scored. Ian Meyer, 1 for 3 with an RBI, with 1 run scored and 3 RBI. Carson Sims, 1 for 3 RBI today, and Ryan Douglas had a run scored in a 1-for-1 effort. Those are your notables today for the Klamath Falls Falcons. They'll play the Eugene Ole Athletics tomorrow, still with a time to be decided based off the nightcap tonight. Don't quite know when we're going to be playing here at Eagle Point tomorrow, but what I'll say is keep your eyes on our Facebook page and on our website. We'll let you know as soon as we know the result of the North Jackson game tonight. North Jackson is playing the Dowls, and so if they win, they will advance to play at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And then if they lose, they will play also at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and that will shift around what the losers and winners brackets look like. It looks like the Falcons will probably be playing at 5 o'clock, but we'll see to make sure. Be sure you keep your eyes on mybasin.com/Falcons to stay updated. But right now, the Falcons feel good heading back home to the Klamath Basin after collecting a 13-0 win in their first game of the Oregon Single-A Legion State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Want to thank everybody who made today's broadcast possible, both head coaches, Marty Johnson for the Bulldogs, Sean Teeters for the Falcons, and again, thanks to you for joining us for another edition of Falcons Baseball. Back here at the Yard at Eagle Point High School tomorrow for our continuing coverage of the state tournament. But until then, my name is Josh Eldridge. Have a great rest of your afternoon. So long, and we'll be back tomorrow. See you then. 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Good night.